this going to be renamed? Is it the King's Trust already? We have not quite got around to that.
We have in fact discussed it, and King Charles has decided that it will remain the Prince's Trust. He will continue as the president of Prince's Trust in Australia, Canada and New Zealand, as well as in the UK. We don't know how much time he will be able to devote to the trust activities now, but he established the Prince's Trust in 1976 after he left the Navy and dedicated his severance pay of £7,400 to charitable activities, and then that evolved into the Prince's Trust Group. And as chair, I'm delighted that he has decided to continue on as president and, of course, as founder of the trust.
Julie, given your work at the Trust and also your work with him as Foreign Minister, what sort of a king do you think he will be?
He will follow very much in the footsteps of his mother, Queen Elizabeth. I think he has spoken on a number of occasions about understanding the significance of the role as monarch, as sovereign, and he has served the longest apprenticeship of any heir to the throne in British history. So virtually his entire life he has been preparing to take on the role of monarch, and so he will be very focused on duty and service and loyalty to the British people and the subjects of the realm and, of course, Commonwealth nations. He has a deep and abiding affection for Australia, and I expect we will see King Charles III visit us in the not-too-distant future after his coronation.
Okay, so do you have any insight here? Have you spoken to the King in recent days? Are those plans afoot? What's going on inside, behind these walls, and I guess behind the walls of Parliament House too in Australia?
I have certainly been in contact with Clarence House and his people, but of course not King Charles himself. But we were hoping that he would be able to visit Australia next year in any event. We have a number of Prince's Trust projects that we would love to see him open. For example, we are helping rebuild a community hall at Stokes Bay on Kangaroo Island that was devastated after the 2019 bushfires. Oh. The Prince's Trust in Australia is also building a social housing development in Glebe in Sydney along sustainable building lines, very much in the tradition that King Charles III has advocated for so long. And there are two opportunities that could warrant his attendance. But no, I have no insights for you. No breaking news in that regard. I just expect he will want to. I
like the sound of that though, Julie. And if you do get him to Kangaroo Island, there's a few people I could probably introduce him to, so we can talk about that. But before we look, there's so much to discuss, and of course he's been hitting a cracking pace. He has been here today over at Westminster. He's in Edinburgh now, and you know the duties of King are enormous. You say he has this deep abiding affection for Australia. How worried would he be about this Republic discussion?
As a matter of fact, I sat next to King Charles III when he was Prince of Wales at a dinner in London recently after the general election here in Australia, and he made very polite inquiries about the new government and its intentions. And the fact is, Prime Minister Albanese will not be raising the issue of a republic in a referendum in this term because he didn't take that to the election, and he would know he would need an election mandate to have such a referendum. I'm sure all the royals are interested in the attitude of the Commonwealth nations, the 15 nations that still have the monarch as the head of state. But I think he'll be focused on other issues at present. He's just lost his mother. He's transitioning to be monarch after 70 years. So I'm sure he's focused on those matters at present.
He has waded into politics as a prince. Do you think he will keep doing that? As we know, the monarch tends to be neutral, as we've seen from Queen Elizabeth. Will the prince, now the king, be able to put on the brakes on that kind of stuff?
He has already indicated that he will, that a number of the perhaps more political matters with which he has been involved will have to be put on hold. He is a constitutional monarch. He has to be above the politics of the day, and he has observed his mother at close hand for 70 years and will no doubt follow in her example. He will be inspired by the way she conducted herself. I expect he will still remain passionate about those causes, the environment and climate change and helping disadvantaged people, particularly young people. His Prince's Trust is very much focused on assisting young people develop life skills, and I expect that will continue. But I also expect that he will take on the traditional role of monarch, just as his mother did for 70 years.
Yeah, we've just seen some photos of you with Prince Charles here in London at various dinner parties. What's he like as a dinner party guest? Is he entertaining? Anything you can divulge this morning?
He's absolutely delightful. He has a wickedly self-deprecating sense of humour. He makes me laugh a great deal. I've been in one-on-one meetings with him on a number of occasions in his sitting room at Highgrove and in the gardens at Highgrove and then at dinner. And we had a visit to Vanuatu in 2018 when he was here with the Queen Consort, Camilla, as she then was, for the Commonwealth Games, and I accompanied Prince Charles, as he then was, to Vanuatu. And we spent the day together, and he was utterly hilarious. And he's very respectful, of course, and it's just these asides that can have you giggling at inappropriate times. His father, of course, the Duke of Edinburgh, was a godlike figure in Vanuatu after his first visit there in 1974. So Prince Philip was deemed a godlike figure in Vanuatu. And Prince Charles would say to the very excited people in Vanuatu who were greeting him, he'd say, "Now, I'm not God, I'm just the son of God," which I found terribly amusing.
You mentioned Camilla there, Julie. How's she when cameras aren't rolling? How do you find her?
Yeah, I'm fascinated.
Like all members of the royal family, they are used to being in the public eye, and she has had more than her fair share of public attention. So they have an extraordinary reserve and ability to remain calm and dignified and gracious throughout. And that is exemplified by Prince Charles, King Charles, and of course by Queen Elizabeth. So most of the royal family follow very much in that role as gracious, respectful servants of the people.
Do you have a favourite royal? I mean, you probably need to say King Charles now, but I know you've met a fair few royals, more than Pete and I at least.
I have certainly met many members of the royal family over the years. Her Majesty on a number of occasions, including in Canberra on a visit there in about 2006. I have met the Duke of Edinburgh. Likewise, he had a wicked sense of humour that would make me laugh. And I met Wills and Kate in Canberra, and they're very elegant and gracious and charming people. Prince Harry and Meghan during the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. But I have come to know King Charles better than others because of my role as chair of the Prince's Trust and also as Foreign Minister. And so he, of course, would have to be my favourite.
Okay, we love that. At least you gave us an answer there.
Yeah.
And look, we're all still getting used to King Charles. Every cabbie I've got a ride with in London has always made that little slip up saying Prince first. But we will get used to it. And Julie Bishop, pleasure to talk to you this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you.